Hi, I'm Dr. Kaye Smith, the founder of Reclaim Global. I'm about to show you a video today that will shock you. It will shock anyone with a decent human mind, but the reality of what I'm going to show you is very true. It is factual. It is the stories of adult women who were sexually abused as children. These stories are told by other women who were also sexually abused. About 3 years ago, I began Reclaim. It was a support group for women who were sexually abused. I was there. I was in the trenches with these women. I learned to weep for myself and weep for others. The reason I wept for myself is I too am a victim of sexual abuse. Now I want you to watch this video. The reason I don't want anyone to look the other way is today we have millions and millions of adults who were victims of sexual abuse, but they told no one. The key to healing sexual abuse is to begin with what we call in Reclaim the telling. You must tell someone that you were sexually abused. But that's not what really bothers me as much as the reality of this other fact. Today in the United States, there are tens of millions of children who are being sexually abused. In Reclaim, we call this silent crime, silent children, and we cannot have this in our country. Brace yourself for what you're about ready to see. This is reality. This is fact. Sexual abuse must be stopped. No more silent crime, silent children. Now watch this.
I'm coming, honey, so get your toys ready. Daddy has a toy, too.
I don't like his toy. I wish this gun was real. I would shoot him.
Please don't make me take my clothes off again. Please don't make me do this again. Please, I'm begging you, don't make me do this anymore. I don't want to do this again. Please don't make me do this again.
Oh, there you are. I see you. Come on out. Let's have some playtime with Daddy.
I don't like it in there. Please don't make me go in there. Help me, please.
Come here, baby. When you finish with that, I got another treat for you. But you gotta promise not to tell Mommy.
Please, Grandpa. I don't like doing that. It doesn't feel good, and I don't like that thing.
I sat in that room and I listened to those women tell their telling. And it tore me up. It broke my heart and it made my stomach sick at the same time. But I knew it was just as important for them to tell what they had been through, what they survived, as it was for me when I told.
The tellings took me right to their moment.
They reminded me of my story, my moment when I was silenced.
I remember this one story of a lady, her telling. She used to tell the story of when her father would come home from work. Things might be okay for a few minutes. Something would set him off, though. She would go into the closet to try to hide. He pushed her up against the wall in this closet. He put his hand on her throat to keep her still. And he didn't care if she screamed. I think from the story that he liked it when she screamed. Because he was disgusting and he was sick. He would push her up against the wall and he would kiss her and force his nasty tongue down her throat as she could feel his body pressed up against her. And no matter what she did, she couldn't get away. No matter how she tried, she couldn't get away. And it wasn't just her, it was her sisters. So everybody knew when something like this was happening that they couldn't get away, that it wasn't escaping. They were stuck in there with this disgusting man whenever he did what he wanted to do. and he would leave like it was nothing, like they were nothing. And every time she told or went over something, you could feel the pain from that child. You could feel the pain of the 6-year-old, and you could feel it because it was something I could relate to, because I knew how it felt to have that power taken away.
Come on, baby, open the door. Let me in. I want to have some daddy time. Don't back up from me now. Now stay still. Don't scream or I'll give you something to scream about.
One lady told of how excited she was to finally get a granddaddy when a neighbor adopted her as his granddaughter. And to the rest of the world, she was granddaddy's little princess. But behind closed doors, she found out that he could not be trusted.
Princess, you're so pretty to Granddaddy. When you're finished with that bread, you can come in here and sit on Granddaddy's lap again.
Granddaddy made little princess suck his penis. Granddaddy stuck his nasty tongue down little princess's throat. She told her mom, and she thought her mom believed her. She thought, finally, I'm safe. But Mama kept sending her right back over to Granddaddy's house. But it was the words that she used to describe how she felt. Words like fearful, ashamed,
Dirty, worthless,
Unloved.
unsafe, and unprotected.
One lady I remember vividly. During her telling, I could see her big eyes and her bright smile, and how she loved playing with her little toys and had so much fun as a child. She was quick with her laugh and quick with her smile, and that faded quickly whenever her uncle came to visit. It started out so innocently, but he'd bring gifts and things like that, and everybody loved this man because, he was the favorite uncle. But it turned sour so quickly. She started learning at too young of an age what a cock was, what a penis was, what a blowjob was. And she remembers the noises he would make, the sounds he would make, how he smelled, how he would look at her. She began to despise herself. And then her cousins started in. And then her sister's boyfriend started in. What child should have to live through that?
Please don't hurt me anymore. Please, please.
She hated herself because she felt his arousal and she knew what was coming next. She didn't like what she felt inside. As she grew older, she wondered, who would I have been if my life was different? Her uncle and these people said, this is how real girls play. She just felt so defeated.
I remember this one lady. She must have been what we like to call a surprise, because her brothers were much older than she was. But it didn't matter, being the only girl, because her mother loved to dress her up, loved to make sure that she looked perfect, made sure that every day she looked the most beautiful. Everything had to match. And that was fun until she was about 5, maybe 6, when she noticed that her brothers would look at her differently when she was dressed up. And for some reason, she started to hate it. But that wasn't far enough. Her brothers didn't just want to see her dressed up. They wanted to see her undressed. They wanted to see her change her little panties. They made her have sex with each and every one of them.
Shut up before I fucking slap you.
They had her so well trained that all they had to do was nod. Just give her a nod. And she knew that meant go find someplace quiet and get naked. And as we listened to her crying, sobbing, she actually put her head down on the table, and her little body was just racked with sobs. And I wanted to go to her. We all wanted to go to her and put our arms around her and comfort her. But we knew she had to get it out. We knew she had to dig it out. So she put her head down and cried, and we let her. But then she lifted her head and she said, I have to get this out. I have to leave this on the table. And then she told us her deepest, her darkest, her most shameful secret. She said that when she was 24, she went to her brother's house, one of the brothers, the one that was the most violent, the one that was the most aggressive. She went to his house to congratulate him because he had just had a baby. His wife had just had a baby in the hospital that night. So it was okay now to come and see him. But before she left, he gave her their signal. He gave her the nod and told her to get naked. Before she left, she felt so humiliated. She felt so very ashamed. That sweet lady, who I know, who helped me get in Reclaim, that sweet lady had her whole life stolen from her only because her 3 brothers couldn't keep their filthy, disgusting hands off of her body.
These stories gripped my heart. They reminded me of my story.
My moment when I was silenced.
Until Reclaim, I didn't have a safe place to open up.
And give my telling.
Will you?
There was this lady in Reclaim who told her story. She was only 3 years old. She begged her mom to take her to work with her so that she wouldn't have to stay in the house with her father. I could see her mom thinking, you're fine, you're gonna be here with your daddy. I've gotta go to work, I can't take you, and I can't stay with you. But she had to leave her. But she didn't know. Daddy wasn't being a real daddy. It hurt to hear her say how her daddy made her feel. He was so rude in front of her friends, to family members. He made her feel like nothing, like absolutely nothing, like she was worth nothing. He even told her sisters, don't be like her. But at the same time he was telling them that, he was sneaking into her room. He was sneaking into her room at night. She could hear his footsteps coming down the hall. And the room was so silent that it was as if we heard the footsteps. and we heard the door open. When her mom would put her to bed at night, she was afraid to stay in her bed. She would crawl underneath the bed, and she would ball herself up, and she would squeeze her eyes tightly closed. But it didn't matter. He came into her room. He would drag her out. She wasn't safe. She wasn't safe in her own bedroom, in her own bed. He violated her.
Don't back her from me. Now stay still and don't scream.
No little girl should have to do that. Should have to face that type of thing. He hurt her. And to think that all this happened and her sisters were asleep just a few steps in the next room to hers.
I can hear him coming down the hall. Please don't let him come in my room. Please make him go away. Please don't let him hurt me anymore. Please, please.
Get your ass over here. Right now. Right now. Get up on the bed. Come here. Come here. Where the f*** are you going?
Somebody help me, please! Somebody please help me!
Every time I see that video, it breaks my heart. It is awful. Sexual abuse is pandemic. These are real life stories about women who were sexually abused as children. I was in the trenches with them as they told their actual stories. But as sad as that is, that's not what really bothers me the most. Although we are looking at millions and millions of adults today who were sexually abused as children, and those millions and millions of adults never told anyone, we are now looking at the worst statistic. It is the tens of millions of children who are being sexually abused today. The cycle of silent crime, silent children continues, and we have to stop it. We have to stop this. This is not good for us. This is not good for America. We have to stop it. And I'm asking you to help me. The first way you help me is to find someone to tell you're telling to tell your details to about your sexual abuse. When you do that, that is the first step of your healing. The second thing I need for you to do is get involved with Reclaim Global. Go to our website, www.reclaimglobal.org, and find out how you can get involved to stop the pandemic, the epidemic, the infection that is going across America, infecting our children with horrific crimes of sexual abuse. Thank you.